Good morning. Welcome to Garage. We got to take a little break on the K-Track because we got pretty far. We got it rolled out to Formula Drift. If you didn't see it, it looked amazing. Take a look at it. And we're gonna have to take a break because we're still waiting on some parts. We want to finish everything and do it all in one series, but we do also have to get Shartkart up and running again. When we were out at the burn yard for our last event, I blew up this here radiator hose and shot hot coolant all over myself. And we just found something that had been ordered a long time ago. Got these Willwood brake kits. It's direct bolt-on brake kit. And we just found it today, so I'm gonna put some real brakes on Shartkart, fix that problem that it's had with the handbrake, and then we're just gonna freshen everything up, probably change the oil, just give it some good love. Go back out to the burn yard, thrash it. Gonna let Hurt and a couple of the other guys have some good time in it. I'm gonna take the back seat on this one. All right, so to get started on Shartkart, one of the first things that happened at the burn yard was put one of the wrong wheel keys on. That got stuck. Also spun one of these studs. So I want to make sure I did a quick track fix and held that with pliers while I impacted it up. But I want to make sure that these studs don't move, so I might pull this off, do a little tackle, but I want to clean up the studs as well. Because if these get damaged, then I won't be able to get them out, and these hubs are kind of stuck on here. So it'd be a really difficult thing for me to take this off. So I gotta make that work. Alright, so here's the culprit. You can see that blew apart. That's what sprayed me with hot coolant and stopped our day. So we got another replacement on the way, and I'm gonna have to fix this fan too. I think it got a little bit hot, so try and prevent that from getting too hot and spraying me with coolant again, or blowing up this engine, which I can't believe is still alive because we put through a bunch of stuff. So JDM of California gave us a real solid 1.8 liter. So we just replaced this hose, which was destroyed, and probably the cheapest thing that could have happened. Filled it up with some coolant, a little bit of cool down stuff, and gonna fire it up, get it up to temp, make sure everything's fine, and then we'll probably pull the plugs. I think they're a little bit fouled out. We put the wrong fuel in it. So normally this runs on E85 with the Haltech, but we put some Ignite Red in there because that's all we had. So I stole some of Hertz fuel before we went to Grange, and I think it needs a retune for that. So I'm gonna check the plugs. I think they may be fouled out, change that out, and then put some more E85 in to keep everything right with the tune. But hopefully we can get up to temperature and everything's fine, and I'll change the oil and stuff. All right, so we moved over to the other side, sitting outside, and real quickly, now the fans do work. I did let it run for a little while. It's temperature controlled through the ECU, so the Haltech tells us when it turns on, and it does work, so at least we have one fan going. The other one is kind of trash. We'll have to replace that later, but for tomorrow, I think it should be okay. And ran a little bit of like water wetter in there just to keep the temps down. But I'm gonna move on, change the oil. While I'm changing the oil, gonna check the plugs. I think that those were an issue. Even though it is idling really well right now, I might just change the plugs out. We'll see what condition they're in. And then I wanna change out some of the fuel back to E85 so the tune is a little bit more online with what we had in it to begin with. So do that real quick, and then I'm gonna have to fix these studs. So one of the studs was spinning inside, and these tires are so big. There's barely any clearance here, and it's gonna go under a lot of force, and Hurt's driving it, so we'll see how much torture it can actually take. So I put new plugs in it. Sounds pretty good. Change of oil, but there's something kind of weirdly wrong. Last time I was at the burn yard, the steering would lock up on me. So it gets stuck kind of halfway through transition, and I want to just jack up the front end and figure out what's going on there, and then we'll move to the studs in the rear. So just a few more things to make sure that we have full control of the car. Steering is kind of one of those things that you have to have if you're going to push it to the limit and have some fun in a really proximity area, which Hurt will be doing tomorrow. So I gotta figure out that steering issue real quick. Hopefully it's nothing major, just a little hang up, or I can beat or bang something out of the way. But I'm gonna jack it up, check it out. So as you know, the front end has been through quite a bit of damage and hit some stuff. I also hit the wall the other day, pumped the brakes, nothing happened, went straight into the wall, and I think it bent this in a little bit. You can see evidence there of that tire rubbing on that, so that could be what I was feeling when I was coming back and forth. Chop that stuff off, see if that's the problem. If not, just keep investigating. All right, so the studs were spinning on the wheels, and that's just because these were old and crummy. I had to pop out some and put the other ones in, so they don't really have a good lock in there. So what I'm gonna do is tack weld this, if you can see right there. I'm gonna tack weld these on so these won't spin when we're trying to take the studs off. I took a good portion of the day trying to get the wheels off themselves, and I had to bend back this brake dust shield, so once I bent that back I could hold that, but I don't want to do that anymore. The studs are all in good shape. It just couldn't take the force of the impact taking it off, so I'm going to secure that. If it ever goes bad, cut them off. Shouldn't be a big deal, but let's start tacking them up. All right, she should be good for tomorrow. Ready to rip. I think that fixed it. Just tack welded those on. They didn't spin. Cleaned up the studs a little bit. We fixed the coolant. Hopefully that stays nice and good. And then the fan works again. Change the oil, change the spark plug. So it should run stronger than ever. And we'll probably break it again tomorrow and fix it again.